Greetings and welcome back to our studies in Junior English. We are now in Unit 3 of the MyPerspectives volume, pages number 274 and following. Power, Protest and Change, A Spirit of Reform is the Unit 3 title. I'd like for you to notice on page 275 the two questions that will drive much of our conversation. First of all, the essential question, in what ways does the struggle for freedom change with history? And then the prompt question at the bottom of 275 that you will be writing on, what motivates people to struggle for change? I'd like you to do the unit goals work on 276 and the vocabulary for the informative text work on 277. We now turn to page 278 and the launch text of the informative model that we are working with. And as we worked with units 1 and 2, here we will as well have a launch text, the Zigzag Road to Rights. Now I'm just reading with you on page 278. This selection is an example of an informative text, a type of writing in which an author examines concepts through the careful selection, organization, and analysis of information. This is the type of writing you will develop in the performance-based assessment at the end of the unit. As you read, think about how the information is shared. Mark the text, as in annotate, mark the text to help you answer this question. How does the writer help readers understand the main point of the essay? Notice we have 9 paragraphs here, and as obviously you're reading with me, I'm hopeful that you're annotating in the notes area to the side. When we look back at history, we often like to identify trends. I would circle that word. Viewing the big picture, we may see a steady push toward progress. I would circle that word. However, every fight for rights involves a series of advances and setbacks. The struggle for equal recognition of African Americans demonstrates a zigzag road to rights. Paragraph 2. The push and pull of this struggle was evident at the birth of the nation. In his original draft of the Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson included a strong condemnation of slavery, protesting this, quote, cruel war against human nature, end quote. Jefferson wanted the Declaration of Independence to grant freedom to all men. However, at the Continental Congress in 1776, both Northern and Southern slaveholders objected to any mention of African American rights. Powerful indeed was their pressure. Any mention of slavery was deleted from the Declaration. Paragraph 3. Although the removal of Jefferson's anti-slavery paragraph was a severe setback, reformers did not give up hope. With the ratification of the Constitution, they gained an important tool for change. Article 5 describes the conditions required for amending the Constitution. Laws can be changed and rights can be gained. Paragraph 4. The struggle took another crucial step. So notice that we're working now chronologically, right? The struggle took another step forward in 1863 when President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation. It asserted that, quote, all persons held as slaves within states that had seceded from the Union are and henceforward shall be free, end quote. Still, freedom for slaves depended upon a Union victory. Slavery remained legal in border states loyal to the Union as well as in Confederate areas under Northern control. I'm at the top now of page 279, paragraph 5. The hope of change promised by Article 5 paid off in 1865. Congress passed the 13th Amendment, abolishing slavery in the United States. Quote, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction, end quote. The next 2 amendments, adopted in 1868 and 1870, made African Americans citizens and gave them the right to vote. The expanded Constitution reflects a nation willing to change. Paragraph 6. Yet, these significant advances did not guarantee full rights for black Americans, as evidenced by a landmark decision by the Supreme Court in 1896. In the case of Plessy versus Ferguson, 7 of 8 Supreme Court justices voted in support of Louisiana's Separate Car Act, which made it illegal for blacks to travel in trains reserved for white passengers. This decision set an important legal precedent. Separate but equal facilities were constitutional. Paragraph 7. That decision was eventually reversed. So notice in this informative text, zigzag meaning to move from one to the other, right? That decision, paragraph 7, that decision was eventually reversed in 1954 when the Supreme Court issued a unanimous decision in the case of Brown versus Board of Education, finding that separate educational facilities are inherently unequal, quote unquote. The decision promised an end to segregation. Once again, progress toward equal rights surged forward. Paragraph 8, nonetheless, no single case, law, or amendment could instantly erase the long tradition of prejudice and inequality. For example, even though the 15th Amendment guaranteed African Americans the right to vote, state and local laws and policies often kept black Americans from voting through tactics such as poll taxes, voter registration exams, and intimidation. These strategies were outlawed by the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And then finally, paragraph 9, the history of African American rights features many crucial victories from the Emancipation Proclamation through the Voting Rights Act. However, the record of the struggle also includes the difficult stumbling blocks that have had to be overcome. While the path to progress is not smooth, one thing is certain: the zigzag will continue into the future. History teaches us that rights gained can be lost, curtailed, or ignored, and perhaps gained once more. Now, of course, our focus here is on this word struggle at the bottom of 279, so go ahead and do that activity. And then on page 280, I want you to summarize quickly what you have read, and then I want you to take a look at the launch activity at the bottom of page 280 as you will complete the focus statement, the struggle for freedom is blank, blank, and blank. Finally, on 281, I want you to do this quick write where you are working with the prompt that you'll be writing on for the end of Unit 3, what motivates people to struggle for change. Let's now turn to our historical information for Unit 3. Thank you.